So one minute I was in there feeling I can't breathe and absolute terror. And the next thing I had just lifted up out of my body. And the next thing I knew, I was sitting high up in a tree on a branch, really high up in the sky. This incident was happening in woodland, and it was under a tree. And I was just up and I was sitting on this branch, and I felt complete peace and complete calm, and there was no pain. There was no sense of panic. All of those feelings that I had been feeling were completely gone. And there was a man sat next to me on the tree, and he was so kind and gentle, and I completely trusted him. He was very white and shimmery, but I could see him clearly. I didn't know who he was, but he was saying to me, "Look at me. Don't worry about what's going on down there. You just look at me." And he was talking to me. And he was showing me the birds, and he was showing me, "Look at that lovely bird up there. Let's look at that." He completely distracted all of my attention, and I was totally in the energy with him. The kindness, the love, the gentleness, everything just felt so absolutely beautiful. I don't know how long I was there, but it was magical. I didn't want to go. It was just lovely. And then after a little while, he said, "It'll be time to go back down now. And when you do, it won't feel very nice, but you're going to be okay. And I want you to know that I am your friend and I am here for you. And you can speak to me and reach out to me anytime you want to." And I understood as I got older that it was because I had broken free from my body in terms of my spirit rising, my soul rising up out of my body, having an out of body experience, that's opened me up through the veil to be able to access the spiritual realms. And having studied a lot about and other traumas, it seems to be quite a theme that when there is severe trauma of any kind, that people can and do leave their body. Psychologists and psychiatrists will call it disassociation. You just remove yourself from the trauma of what's happening. It's a defense mechanism. But from a spiritual perspective, yes, the soul is saying, "This is too much for me. I'm just going to step away from the body for a minute, and then I'll come back when I'm ready." So that kind of continued through my teens, in terms of me being able to be aware of energy and healing. And I went to lots and lots of different churches, trying to find my answers, all the while searching for what I had felt and experienced in that time that I was out of the body. But I had absolutely no fear of death. And in a way, in that time, in that trauma that I was holding, I welcomed it. Yeah, I knew what was on the other side, that it was this peace and this beauty, and there was all of these magnificent beings and absolute pure love, a love that I had never known on the earth. And I had no fear of death. I didn't like life. It was very hard. And I continued to build my spiritual muscle, if you like. When I was 17 and I had suffered another trauma, I reached out to Spirit and said, I can't cope. Help me, help me. And I immediately saw in front of me really clearly, and I was in my body this time. This is the first time I saw Spirit clearly in my body. A beautiful indigenous man. Well, at the time, because this would have been around about 1980, at the time we would have called a Native American Indian. Now it's Indigenous First Nation people. And this man stood there and connected with me and told me his name was Running River, and he was my guide and he was going to help me. And he started talking to me about shamanism and the grounding and the earth and Mother Earth, and how I could connect with the earth and heal my traumas and to find my peace. And he helped me. He was there for me all of the time over the next 20 odd years. But anyway, the near-death experience happened again when I was 21. I had left that abusive relationship and I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, all right, PTSD. After something like 15 years of abuse, physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally, I was absolutely a wreck. And the only part of my life that made sense was my spiritual connections. It's the only time I felt safe. And I knew I was safe with spirit. I knew life was pretty hard and I wasn't coping at all. The depression, the anxiety, the panic attacks, the low self-worth, the self-disgust, all of those feelings just became completely overwhelming, to the point where I just made the decision, I can't do this. This is too hard. I can't live like this. I can't live with this trauma that I wake up with every day, the constant fear, the flashbacks. I can't do it. So I made the decision, I'm going home. I know where home is and I know it's love and I don't want to be here anymore. So I took a massive overdose of the various pills that I had been given. And they were a combination of a load of paracetamol, a load of Valium, tranquilizers, and sleeping pills. I took everything I had in the house that I had been given, and I was ready. I made my peace with life and said, thanks for having me. I don't want to stay. I'm going home. Bye-bye. I took the whole lot and I went to bed perfectly expecting to, that was it, done, dusted, off we go. This wasn't a cry for help. This was an absolute determination that I am done with this life. Now, I remember just falling asleep in absolute happiness that I wouldn't have to wake up ever again and, face that same pain. What they did was I suddenly saw my guides and my angels around me, and then they lifted me up and took me up to the higher realms. And I just remember saying, I'm going home. And they said, no, you're not. It's not your time. And so I remember it was pretty vague, but I remember being in a place which I now know to be the angelic realms. And there was a huge amount of spiritual energy, people, beings, angels around me, healing me. They were determined that I was not going to die and they were going to heal me. I don't know how long I was there, but I do remember arguing with them and saying, no, I don't want to heal. I don't want to go back. I'm not going back there. And they said, yes, you are. You've got a lot of work to be done. You agreed to this. You planned this. We did tell you at the time that it would be a very hard beginning in your life. And I was saying to them, I don't understand. What do you mean? And they said, your soul chose this, including all of the abuse and all of the nastiness. And we did say to you that what you wanted to accomplish in this lifetime would normally take 3 lifetimes. However, you, being the determined and very stubborn soul that you are, decided you wanted to do it in 1. And we did warn you it would be too hard and too overwhelming. So here you are at 21 trying to check out. It's not your time. So we have to heal you enough to go back. But we can tell you that you will, in the second half of your life, find enormous peace and be able to help enormous amounts of people. This pain will not go on forever. Please let us help you and work with us. So I agreed. They did tell me that my time, and I was 21 at the time, they said, it's not your time to go. You'll be going when you're 67. And when you're 21, 67 feels very, very old and a long, long way away. So I made the deal with them. All right, I'll go back till I'm 67. So there was just then a lot of white light, a lot of peace, a lot of acceptance, no more resistance. And the next thing I know, I woke up in my body.